This conference will now be recorded.
Well, thank you all for joining me uh, for one more of our virtual networking meetings. I hope everybody had a nice Valentine's. I know, at least from my perspective, it's been expanding from not just a purely romantic thing to almost like a general friendship thing. So, and so this time it was kind of weird because it fell on a Tuesday. So some people celebrated last weekend, some people are celebrating next weekend, some people celebrated Tuesday. But whatever you're doing and whoever you're doing it with, I hope you had a good time. And anyway, this meeting has three parts. The first part is we'll do a round of introductions where everybody can take a minute or two to introduce themselves, their name, their company, their product or service. Please put in the chat your contact information, whatever you want to put in there, phones, emails, websites, so that people can contact you and maybe have longer conversations with you after this meeting is over. Oh, we still have one more person. Rick, how are you?
Doing well. Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
so we're just getting started. I was kind of laying out the agenda real quick. We're going to go through a round of introductions first for a minute or two. Then, like I said, put your contact information in the chat so that if people want to have a longer meeting with you after this one, maybe talk a little bit about your business or their business, whatever, they know how to get a hold of you. After that, we're going to open it up for if people have questions on the introductions. Do you do this? Do you do that? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? We will do that. And typically, we still have a little bit of time left at the end, and we'll just open it up for general conversation. How do people see the economy? Everybody here is a small business owner in their own right, and maybe you have clients that are small business owners or big business owners. We're going to have a soft landing or not. How are interest rates affecting you? How is the situation in Ukraine affecting you? So I'm sure we'll have no shortage of topics. And my goal is to get you out of here somewhere between 45 and 55 minutes after the hour. So you have a couple minutes to regroup. And if you have another video chat coming up or another meeting, you have time to get set for that. So, I see Joe found the chat. Very good. How does all that sound? Pretty good?
Yep.
All right. Well, since I'm an old school gentleman, we're going to start with ladies first. Plus, Rhoda, frankly, has not missed one of these meetings. I think she missed the last one because I think you were in Israel. But in general, she doesn't miss one of these meetings. So we'll go with Rhoda first, and then we'll go with Patrick simply because, again, they've been through a lot of these, so they know the system better than I do. And then we'll go with Joe and just keep going down the line. So, Rhoda, do you want to kick us off, please?
Hello, everyone. I am in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the center of the U.S. And no, the balloon did not fly over Indiana, even though I kept watching for it.
We heard
My,
you shot down a balloon. We heard you shot down a balloon, Rhoda.
with my water pistol. My business is called Say It For You, and we are a 15-year-old team of ghostwriters, and we write content for the web and primarily blogs, which is the hardest thing to sustain for business owners, is to keep new content going. And so that's what we do. So my information is in the chat, and we will say it for you.
Perfect. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. So, Patrick, do you want to take over?
Thanks, and great to be here, everybody. And before I came on here, I was feeling a bit, do you know the way you feel a bit, what's going on? Am I moving forward? And all that kind of stuff. So it was wonderful to be able to look at the diary and say, the Sal invitation. Wonderful. Welcome back, Rhoda. You'll have to brief us on what happened in Israel. And But look, I've been reading around why it is that we can't move forward. Well, some people can move forward. And one of the reasons I've discovered is that we were all, we have the brain of a caveman or woman, right? In other words, when we were in the caves, we tried to make sure that we weren't eaten by a lion or a fast moving tiger, you know? Now, this doesn't happen today very often, thank goodness. But we still have, we're still in a state of kind of, we're living in fear again. So when opportunity comes, we're fearful because we don't want to leave our comfort zone, and we're fear of failure, we're fear of what others may think about us, and what if it goes wrong, and all these things. And it really is holding people back potentially. In other words, we could say that if we're thinking like that, we are in our own way. And if you know anybody that's like that, I think we have to help them. People. I was online there during the week, and this person says to me, "Money is evil," and I said, "Will you open that one up for me? Money is evil." I said, "It isn't the money that's evil; it's what you do with it." You know. So I said, "Well, we need money to dig a well or to build an orphanage or something, or feed people. We need money. What are you talking about?" But anyway, that didn't go very far. But look at just to get to what I'm doing. I'm coming to you from Ireland, 3 satellite hops away, probably, or 2 anyway. And I'm working with a team of global entrepreneurs um, who are trying to influence people's lives health-wise and income-wise. So we have made a pledge that we want to enable people to generate an additional income stream of at least $1,000 extra a month. And the way we're doing that is we have some really cool products. We have a marvelous support system. And if you know anybody who is interested in exploring this ethical business that is heart-centered, I'd love to talk to them.
Perfect. Fantastic. And Patrick, I know you know this. Don't forget, please put your contact information in the chat.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
will,
I'm
yeah.
just gonna go now in the order that I see people on my screen. Which may not be your same order, but okay. So Joe, same thing. Could you please take a minute or two to introduce yourself? I saw you put your contact information in the chat.
I did, and I'm very, very happy to be back. A little different when we did the live in person with those great lunches. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Joe Leach, as in the chat. I'm talking to you from Pittsburgh. My principal function is as a master connector, and our principal focus right now is in the area of ERC or ERTC, and probably that means absolutely nothing to any of you, but we'll have an opportunity to explain that. Basically, I work with small business owners. By definition, in the USA, that is a business that has 2 to 500 employers, employees, and I work with to educate those that have employees on their ERC benefits and ensure they're receiving all that they are entitled to. Unfortunately, over 50% of those owners are not even aware of this eligibility, or they have incorrect information. Some of you that are, I noticed Cologne, Germany, and Ireland, we work strictly virtually. We will even provide leads of American prospects. At any rate, these people have incorrect information. The average benefit is in the form of a tax refund. It's in the area of about $20,000 per W 2 employee. And I'm here seeking both business owners that you know who have employees that live and work in the United States or pay wage taxes in the United States. And I'm offering a very generous cash thank you for those referrals, approximately $1,000 US. I'm also seeking partners to work with me in helping give some of this government money away. And so if you're interested or able to help me in either of those areas, please schedule a webinar with me or a seminar. Give you a very quick, dirty, clean, I should say, overview of in the pandemic. A lot of business lost business. They had to shut down. They kept their employers hired, and the government says in the United States, we'll help those people. They will have their choice of either a loan, which won't have to be repaid, or a generous tax credit. People could only use one or the other. Most took a loan, it was repaid. They were not eligible for the other. The law was changed in March 2021. Interesting thing, the IRS will be very generous with their communications and keep in touch with you if you owe them money. But if you are due money from them, they are rather silent in their communication. My function is to connect people and businesses to help them know this benefit is available and help them apply for it. So I hope we explain clearly what we do, and I have a link which explains the ERC in my contact box of the chat. Thanks, guys.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Joe. And by the way, just as a clarification for some of the folks that are new, and actually, I think Joe's the only person from Pittsburgh here today. This used to be a live lunch networking meeting in the Pittsburgh area. So Joe and I actually know each other in person from those lunch meetings. But because of the magic of virtual, we've been evolving, and so now we have people from all over the U.S. and all over the world. Speaking of that, Oguzhan, you're next, and please feel free to correct me if I mispronounced your name, and I
Yeah,
apologize for that. But you
yeah,
get the next turn.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is actually called Oğuzhan. Um, but so you were pretty close, and it was really good, better than a lot of people maybe here. Yeah, my name is Oğuzhan, or you guys can call me Augie, like my friends and my family do. I'm 22 years old. I'm still studying, going to college, early childhood and family education. It's my last year, so I will graduate in summer, hopefully. Um, Besides that, I started to learn coding since 3 years, and I started a month ago to build a personal brand on social media. So I'm on LinkedIn and on Instagram. Yeah. Besides that, I try to help with my coding skills to do projects, which is able to do with the languages of HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Yeah, I didn't do a lot of business or something else. I'm just, yeah, pretty young, and try to find my focus and my joy, where I can do my business. Um, yeah, and besides that, of course, I'm learning, or I'm doing a design with Canva and Photoshop. This is like the services that I offer. Um, yeah, I guess I said a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm located in Cologne, Germany. So I was born and grew up here. Um, yeah, thanks for having me here.
Okay, well, no, thank you very much for joining us, and this is the wonder of the video chat. Again, Patrick and you guys are coming across wonderful without any delay, without any hesitation, without any satellite problems. So I just love it. Um, Anthony, my good friend Anthony, if you could, same thing, take a minute or two to introduce yourself.
Sure. My name's Anthony Amico. My company is Mild to Wild Strategies. I've been a banker for a long time, past few years on my own. I do 100% startup financing and other working capital solutions for restaurants, uh, real estate, new businesses. I picked up new products, CBD, hemp, cannabis financing. What makes my situation a little bit unique is because I've actually owned a business. Before becoming a banker, I owned a small gourmet pizza chain in Cincinnati, Ohio with some other guys. So I've set up a business, opened a business, run a business, and sold a business. So there's lots of stories out there, and I have a few of my own. So I get it.
Okay, fantastic. And I can tell you guys, I've worked with Anthony in the past, and he will really go the extra mile to help you. So I'm
Yeah,
very happy to do that little commercial for him.
yeah. And I
Um,
see Rick is kind of down the road from me in Columbus, where I used to be, and Cincinnati. So maybe we can chat. I always look forward to talking to other pizza guys.
yeah. Well, Rick, you're muted. If you want to unmute yourself and take a minute or two to introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, thanks, Sal. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my name is Rick Konkoskia, and we have a company called Crino's Pizza. It's been around for 42 years. We are headquartered in a place called Zanesville, Ohio, which is the eastern part of Ohio. However, we've grown to 24 locations. We are currently we started a little over 16 months ago, growing not only in the Ohio area, but starting to grow in other states. We're currently working on 6 locations in Georgia, 3 in Florida, 3 in Iowa, and we continue to plan to grow more nationally, which is the reason that I joined this group. We've had several inquiries on our website, franchise inquiries, people that want to know if we're coming to the area of Hershey and Pittsburgh. And the issue that we run into, we do a lot of the studies, a lot of the demographic and geologic or geographical studies on where are good areas to go in the saturation market. And the problem we have is finding the people to franchise them and own them, run them. So we get a lot of interest from areas, but it's finding those people who are interested to come in as an investor. And for our concept, we are surprising to a lot of people. We're a lot lower to get involved. You don't have to have $500,000 net worth. You don't have to have $300,000 sitting in the bank. It's generally about $30,000 or $40,000 is what you'll have out of pocket with your franchise fee and the down payment for your build out. We're averaging between 18 and 20 months return on investment, and our franchisees grow very well organically. Usually after being in their first location for about a year to 18 months, they're looking at their second location, and then about 3 years later, they're opening their third location with cash. So um, always trying to network and find those next people who are interested in getting involved, because we do get a lot of requests to come into a new market. We just have to have the people there that are ready to open them up. So I appreciate being a part of the group.
Absolutely. And I do have some questions for you, but I'll introduce myself briefly, and then I'll let other people ask questions. And again, I do have one for you. Um, so again, thank you all for joining me. My name is Sal Acosta. I am a business broker, and it's exactly like it sounds. I help people buy and sell businesses. I'm working all over the US, same thing, through the magic of the internet and video chat. Just to give you some numbers around that for the new folks that don't know me, I usually work with businesses that have anywhere between 10 employees on the low side, maybe all the way up to 250 on the high side. Anywhere from zero, which would be a startup, a pre-revenue startup, to maximum maybe 10 or 20 million dollars for the year. And from an EBITDA perspective, and for if you don't know that term, think about it as net positive cash flow. Anywhere between at least hopefully break even to about 1 million or 2 for the year. So that's what I do. Um, and that's it for me. Have any of the introductions triggered questions that people would like to get answered?
Yeah, I'd like to. I have several questions. I'd like to ask Joe. I got confused, Joe, when I was listening to you. I generated more questions than I didn't fully listen. My apologies. So you're saying that the revenue in America can give you money, give people money, that if I recommended 4 or 5 people to you, or three or one, are you saying that I could get a bonus, but they could even do better, or is what what's going on?
Okay, we are all familiar with the pandemic and the effect on business worldwide. Many businesses had to shut down. Many businesses were able to keep going, but they lost some revenue, possibly because of supply chain matters and what have you. And the government wanted to help those businesses because of the pandemic. Are we on? We so far okay on the
Yeah,
understanding?
yeah. I
Uh,
got that bit. Yeah,
okay. The most common one was basically many people had to lay off employees.
yeah,
And of course, the businesses wanted to pay the people and they wanted to help the people, and but they had no revenue. But they were able to get loans. It's called a PPP loan. It was in the CARES Act, one of our famous American laws that gave the people a source of getting some help in form of a loan, which does not have to be repaid. I would ask you, Rick, you've been in the pizza, you and AA both have been in the pizza business. Did you ever get a PPP loan? Either of you?
Uh, no,
Rick shakes his head yes.
I, I,
Yeah,
AA?
I, my
we
pizza
did.
business was way before any of this would have ever been thought of.
Okay, well, it didn't have to be the pizza business. The business all over the world. The people were also given an opportunity instead of taking a loan, taking a tax credit. Over here in the United States, Patrick, when you have an employee versus a freelance hourly person, you have to make their payroll taxes that go into their retirement, their Medicare, and so on and so forth. Okay,
yeah,
that was complicated, and they could only do one or the other. Most people took loans. Most of those loans have been totally forgiven right now. But the law was suddenly changed in March 20, and this period of time applies to businesses in business 2020 and 2021. In March 21, the law was changed and said, okay, you business owners that have employees can apply for both. And it's a rather complex process the average certified public accountant doesn't understand. So basically, now the people that have employees can apply, but they need to use a specialist. It's just like if you had gone to the doctor and he says, "Oh, you have a tumor," you're not going to have your family doctor do that brain surgery, right? You're going to go to a specialist, right? Okay, so that's what I work with. That, and there's two or three companies. Guys, I'm not an expert in anything. I'm probably the oldest guy on screen here at 85, and I'm a connector. I've been doing a lot of businesses for quite a few years, and this came about. And these four business owners don't have any idea. So basically, we help them, and basically, they are entitled to a return of those employment taxes that they received, and the average business gets about $20,000 per employee. So, Rick, you talked your sweet spot, 10 employees. If you had 10 employees, 10 times $20,000, can you do the math? In a bigger business, wow. And what's in it? I'm looking for people that will help me help the businesses. We get paid for helping get the people the money back that was their money that they had paid in. And so there's a little override, and I'm willing to share that. But also, if you want to bypass me, I can show you how to do that directly. And furthermore, I will give you unending lists of businesses in the United States with phone numbers, the amount of the PPP loan they had, and you can have at it. We'll get you started. So, looking for two people. If you are a business person like Rick that has had a PPP loan, he may or may not know it. He may have applied for an ERC. Uh, it is called Employee Retention Tax Credit Payment. And if you have it, we really need to talk because there's companies and people coming out of the woodworks that are not very ethical. Just a little bit of education. If you are using a service, you don't want to have a service that's a generalist. You want to, first of all, make sure your butt is not on the line so they sign the tax return. Secondly, if they make a mistake, are they going to stand behind you with errors and omissions insurance? And thirdly, there's a good chance you'll be audited. So is there audit protection for a period of years? those are some of the things as an educator I want the business owners to know that they need to look out for. I am not the only person in the sandbox. Hope I didn't take too many words, but I explained
Well,
thoroughly.
that's really good, Joe. The really interesting fact there is you're 85. What kind of drugs are you on?
What kind of drugs am I? Believe it or not, and maybe in the same area as you. Uh,
Yeah,
this will amaze you because
yeah.
number one, I'm also a life and health insurance agent with Medicare, but I am a naturopath. I stay away to avoid drugs and doctors at just about any cost. You may need a surgeon to set a bill, but man, God made wonderful things with our bodies, and they're meant to heal themselves if you treat them properly, give them the right kind of nutrition, the right kind of exercise, and oh my Lord, that's another
Yes,
soapbox.
wonderful, Joe. Wonderful, wonderful. Well done. Congratulations.
And
Okay.
what is your name? What is your product brand? Or are you a broker of different ones? We're all
No,
familiar with
I'll send you a
Shackley.
link. I'll send you a
Okay,
link. I'll send you a link, Joe.
wonderful.
Okay. Well, does anybody have any questions for anybody else based on the introductions before I ask Rick one or two? Rhoda, you're muted.
I have a question for Rick as well. As these pizza shops are expanding and opening, are the owners suffering from lack of employees who show up and actually come to work?
Let me get my mic on. We in the restaurant industry are not we're not obscure from anything that's happening in any other type of employment in as far as the labor issues. Um, those things are getting better. With the larger companies, the Googles, the Intels, and everybody starting to lay off their tens and 20,000 people and kind of you know balancing the job market back out. What I will say that we've found and that we've encouraged and taught some seminars on to our franchisees and to their staff and managers is that every study out there and every survey that's been taken over the last couple of years where the challenges have been faced in the labor market is that um, employee retention is not based on the amount of salary or the dollar amount that you're paying them hourly, but moreover, it's based on the culture that you provide in your restaurant or your business. So, if it's a situation where the employee feels a part of the group, they feel educated, they feel supported, they feel like they know what they need to do and they have the resources to do it, and they enjoy the working environment, they're going to stay even if the Amazon is paying $2 more an hour down the road. They want to stay in an environment where they feel supported and wanted, and they feel like they have the resources they need. However, on the flip side, if they don't know what they're supposed to be doing, and if we bring them in the first 6 weeks, they're not educated or they're not given the resources that they need to do the job properly, and they're not supported or felt to be welcome, then they're going to always be looking for the next best thing. So where that comes into play for your marketing and really saves you in labor and in marketing dollars, your greatest marketer, especially for employment, is a happy employee. So when we create a great culture for our employees and when we create a great culture in our restaurants, then those people tell their friends about it and tell other people about it, and those people want to come there and work. Because even though the Amazon or some other distribution center may be paying a couple dollars more an hour, the people leave there and they talk about how much they hate it or how much they're micromanaged or scrutinized. If they leave your business and they're saying, man, I really enjoy working there. It's like a family. I really feel like I enjoy talking to our customers. I have fun. Well, people want to go there. And it doesn't really matter how much they're making because they want to stay there long term, especially if you give them the incentive of being able to grow with the company, which we have a lot of that opportunity.
That and recognition is great. I don't know how many of you have a Trader Joe's supermarket. We have many various in the area. And what a fantastic example of culture there compared to one of the larger chains such as Giant Eagle or something like that.
Oh, I'm going to tell you guys a quick story of how you can leverage things, and how, if you are a progressive owner, you can give your employees some creative benefits. Okay, and of course you have to remember this was literally in the late 80s, early 90s, before the internet even existed. Okay, but I was running my business was a mobile oil change business. Okay, and I went to my local pizza shop and I said to them, listen, let's make a deal. I'm going to give you a bunch of flyers. Every time you deliver a pizza, just stick, one of these flyers on your box. And in exchange for that, I'll come here. I forget what it was, but let's just call it once a week. And I'll give your delivery drivers a free oil change because, let's face it, they're driving around, they can use it, and it's a free oil change, right? It was wonderful. The employees at the pizza shop, the delivery drivers, they loved it because they're getting a free oil change. They're driving around. They feel like they're taking care of their car. I went to the pizza shop to do that while they were there. And in exchange, every time they delivered a pizza, my flyer was there. And I can't even tell you how many phone calls I got out of that. That was like the best marketing program in the world. So it was a win-win. And if you are a pizza shop, and you're open-minded and you're willing to do things like that, you can make your employees very happy, and it didn't cost them anything.
Yeah, business to business cross promotion is definitely very valuable. Very valuable.
That reminds me of a couple stories. A long time ago, we started our home-based business in Amway, and I'll never forget one of the times there was a bank vice president that had crossed stage. He was probably earning a very good income as a banker and a vice president, what have you. And the interview came out later. Well, John, what brings you to Amway? Be a soap salesman? You're a vice. He says, I'll tell you, Amway has done one thing for me that the banks have never done. They have given me a chance to be recognized for who I am. And recognition goes so far. In fact, Rich DeVos was interviewed some time ago. So many people get into the MLMs and everything, and they make absolutely no money. And Rich was asked, well, what is it you give your people? They're not, they don't earn that much money. He says they're giving a chance to be recognized for something that no one else has given them. Recognition and thank you. What motivators? And I could tell, Rick, you're on top of that already. Congratulations. You're going to be very successful.
Thanks.
Excellent. Well, listen, any other questions for Rick or anybody else based on the introductions? I do have one, but again, I want to let everybody else go first. So Rick or anybody else, questions, comments on the introductions? Okay. Well, Rick, a comment and a question. I'm going to reach out to you to have a little bit more of an in-depth one-on-one, because I've got some ideas and some thoughts. Let me ask you this, just out of curiosity. You mentioned Hershey, PA in particular.
Yep.
Um, is there a particular reason why you mentioned Hershey, PA, that you're looking to maybe set up shop there?
Well, like I said, we get a lot of inquiries. We have on our website, you can go on and fill out a franchise inquiry, and sometimes those are people who are actually interested and want to invest and open their own pizza shop. And many times we also get people that just say, "Hey, are you bringing a location here?" So we have actually received several in that general Hershey area and around there, and also around the Pittsburgh area. So when I saw this group, I thought, well, we have continued to receive more interest, and it'd be worth connecting with the group. We're continuing to grow further east as well in Ohio. We're getting ready to develop some locations right on the border, actually, at like St. Clairsville, Wheeling, West Virginia type area, and then going even further east there. So eventually we will be in the Pennsylvania area and continue to grow, but it just seems to be I don't know, two iconic areas that we continue to get more requests over and over again. that are outside of the state of Ohio. And it may be because we do have a heavier presence on the east side of Ohio. So as people are traveling, they may be coming across. We do have a location on the campus of Muskingum University, and there is a lot of people from Pennsylvania that attend that university, play football, play sports. It's a smaller campus, but really nice. And we are the go-to pizza place there. And so we do get actually the gentleman in Iowa who's developing locations, same situation. He had a son that went to the university and was familiar with the area. And then when they went back there, they said, hey, we need one of these pizza places back here. We love it, but we don't have it. And we get a lot of that. People who are used to, their 2 or 4 years that's spending at the university, they leave and they're like, hey man, we need one of these back home. We love to make that happen. We have to find that person who's ready to be their own boss.
Okay. Just so you know, by the way, I'm actually headquartered here in St. Clairsville, so I'm
Oh,
right in the. Yeah. So anyway, I'll
well,
shoot you an email. We can
I'm
talk
coming
more.
soon. I'm coming there soon. I just had a meeting yesterday with the gentleman who's going to be developing that area. We'll be going there very soon.
So, okay, so have you picked out a specific location?
That's undisclosed yet, but we do have some good information.
All right,
But
I
it will
love
be.
it. I like that answer. I understand. I maybe I shouldn't have even asked the question, but okay. Um, all right, guys. Anything else on the introductions? How are we doing for time? 12:38. Okay. Let me ask you guys this, because you're all small business owners in your own right, or you deal with small business owners, or both. What is and anybody can answer, and I'll prod some people, but what is the single biggest concern that you have from a business perspective for 2023? Is it the recession? Is it interest rates going up? And I know there's some of these are interrelated. Is it the war in Ukraine that is still unresolved? Is it something else? Actually, I'm going to start with Ogie just to get a little bit of an international perspective. What is your single big? And I know you're in school, but still, what is your single biggest concern from a business perspective for 2023, and why?
I think actually starting to make money.
From
Yeah,
you mean from like just getting a job perspective?
with the business, what you're doing, not from my job.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. Well, anybody else want to take a stab at that? Anthony, I know you deal with a lot of people. You're talking to people all day long. But from your personal perspective, what do you see as the biggest business challenge for 2023?
Lack of vision.
Lack of vision.
People say to me, Anthony, are you worried about the economy and this and that? I said, well, obviously there's always a concern about, this or that. But I said, when I wake up every day, as I look at what opportunities there are opportunities whether the economy is good or whether the economy is bad. In 2008, a lot of people are losing their houses, this and that, and there's a lot of other people that were making money. When I was an adjunct at a community college in Cincinnati, I taught small business management. And I should have realized this at the time, but I didn't. And there was a recession going. I said, "Oh my gosh, what's going to happen to the school if there's a recession?" They said, "We love recessions." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because all these companies lay off and they pay all this money to have their ex-employees retrained or learn something new." They said we love recessions. I said, yeah. So there's always, just because an economy is in an expansionary period does not mean that the best opportunities for someone is there. Sometimes the best opportunities are recession. You just have to find them. And, we're lucky that we're self-employed because the people who are real risk and the real risk takers are the ones that have W-2 jobs because their income is hanging by a thread. If I own a candy store and candy gets outlawed or something like that, well, now I'm going to sell CBD. Boom, just like that.
Yep.
I agree
No,
with
you're
you.
absolutely right. And there's always people that benefit in recessions, whether it's the used car salesman because people can't buy new cars, the bankruptcy attorney. I remember talking to the guys, and this was years and years and years ago, from Burger King, and they said kind of the same thing. They said we like recessions because then people can't go out to the fancy restaurant, but they still want to go out to eat, so they come to Burger King. And I said, okay, well that kind of makes sense. All right, Rhoda, what are you
There's
seeing?
money in poverty. There's money in poverty.
Oh, Rhoda, by the way, well, you're muted, but also please tell us about your trip to Israel.
Um, trip to Israel would take the whole rest of the time to tell you. So, very booming economy, cranes building all over the place. Shipping, just a lot going on. One would not have sensed in everyday life that there was any sense of danger. So people were going about doing all kinds of exciting cultural things and business ventures, and real estate is going through the roof, just like here, and very, very interesting. So
How
eggs
long were
are
you
cheap
there?
for 10 days. Eggs were cheaper than here. It was easier to get eggs.
Very good.
Um, in my business, the concern is that people want to do things the quick and easy way. And the work that I do is not quick or easy. It's um, it's a long-term investment in one's website, essentially, because blogging happens to be literally the only form of marketing that a business owner can do that never dies. Every piece that's written is living forever and contributing to getting found. So on my website, for example, I just posted blog post number 2000, and number 1 and 2 and 10 are still on there using my keyword phrases. So my big concern is how to paint a picture of long-term growth based on content marketing. So that's my challenge. I don't know whether it's my concern, but it is my biggest challenge.
Okay, fair
Well
enough.
done, Roland. Well done. Well done,
Well,
Roland.
yeah, I'll tell you guys what. It's 12:44 here on the East Coast. One last question, one last comment from anybody, and then we'll disband for today. We're doing these meetings on the third Wednesday of every month, so we'll do it again in a month, and you'll get the notices. One last comment, one last question, one last anything from anybody.
I agree with Anthony. I think it's Solomon that said, those without vision perish.
Okay. Well, actually, I'll ask the last question to Rick. Rick, are you worried
I
about the economy? Go ahead, Joe.
okay. I had a question. When we were meeting in person, we had a limit. I have some other people that I think would benefit greatly from participating. Do you have a limit to the number of Wednesday participants?
There, there is, yes, there's a limit of 10 people, just like the physical
Okay.
meeting, just so everybody gets a chance to contribute and talk, and so it doesn't get crazy. Uh, but feel free to invite people, and even if you run into the cap, let me know. We'll work something out. So don't worry about anything. I mean, today we have 7, so we could have had 3 more people today. So, Joe, I'm sorry, Rick. Anything, one particular issue that you're worried about for 2023 from the perspective of your business?
Yeah, I agree with Anthony in a bit that there is some lack of vision, and that's a high level view. But I also think there's some opportunity there. It's something I'm going to work with Anthony on. I've started a second company that addresses some issue. I think out of economic issues and whether it's too much growth at one time or whatever, there creates opportunity. And out of those opportunities, if you have a solution for the problem, that creates more opportunity for you to have another business or a successful business. So I think there is some people that struggle with seeing it that way, looking for the solution for a problem rather than just being afraid of the problem. From a micro level, we do still have a tight pulse on cost of goods. Cost of goods have not come down. From our industry, we saw about 23.5% increase over that 20-month stint. And as a business owner, unless you're a grocer, grocery stores raise theirs every day, but as a restaurant, you can't go and just raise your prices 23%. So we haven't. We've been very aggressive with our vendors, making sure that we're being creative with the way that those cost increases have been passed along, being conscious of our customer base and not increasing our prices to a point where it's feelable. It's harsh to them. However, right now in our communities, they can go and feed a family of 5 for cheaper than they can go buy groceries. So we are still a very viable option. And the pizza business has continued to be, one of the things that a lot of people in the pizza industry saw was at the peak of COVID, when everybody was working at home, we're the #1 delivery business. So sales for a pizza business had never been higher, gross sales, than in that 18-month stint. However, profitability wasn't quite there because the cost of goods continued to go up. So now that's the battle that we're looking at in 2023, and part of last year was the gross sales have started to come back to a normal rate, but the price increases haven't. So we're focused in on that, making sure that all of our franchisees continue to be very, very profitable.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. All right, guys. Well, listen, it's 12:48. We're going to call it a day here.
One question. Rick, could you fax me over a slice of your best pizza?
I think I'd like to take the big kahuna.
I'd love to just come meet you and bring one, and I'll take a little vacation. How about that?
Hey, Patrick, come on. You gotta be the first international franchisee over there in Ireland. Come on.
Would love it. That would give me a reason to travel.
Oh,
That'd be
no,
awesome.
that's not for me. Thank God, no. Look, I work in a different way, but thank you for the offer.
It was nice meeting everybody today.
Okay,
How do
guys,
we-
thank you all very much. I'll send out
How
the
do we save
recording.
the chat?
Yes,
How do
I'll
we
save the chat, and I'll send the link I'll send everybody the chat when I send the recording tonight.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
sir.
See you
You're
all in a
wonderful.
month.
Thank you. Bye bye.